A quick disclaimer before we dive right in. When I speak of masculinity and femininity in this video, I am speaking of the divine polarities. This has been brought up in so many religions and philosophies out there, such as the 7 principles of the universe as seen by Hermeticism. And this is something that I will be talking about in a future video. I will explain this a little bit further, but that's what I'm speaking about here. I'm speaking of the energies that are existing in all beings, the divine feminine and divine masculine components of all things, spirit and matter. I am not speaking of binary constructs, of gender or sexual preferences and whatnot. Of course, these two things are connected, because when the divine masculine or divine feminine is wounded and hurt, it can actually, project itself into the type of relationships that we have, especially the love partnerships that we may construct in our lives, because inherently that's what it is all about. Divine feminine and divine masculine, when they are not in their higher polarity, can end up making us meet people who hurt us or force us to see what is wrong with our relationship with ourselves. This being said, I want to remind you guys that we all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine within us. This is something that we all have. As a female, of course, I do have a lot more traits of the divine feminine and vice versa, but it means only that we need to embody that energy and project it. But if we are fighting with the other energy, we can never achieve that goal. So the goal here is to reconcile these two energies that exist within all of us, reconcile them, make peace with them, understand them better, and hopefully live a better life, be better at connecting with others, because we understand who we are and what we're not. Because the divine masculine and the divine feminine represent the creation of all things. It is the first collision of both words, if you want. It is really a divine union that allows two things that are separate from each other to merge together and create something bigger, something grander than themselves, to transcend both their statuses and actually become one. This is something that has been discussed by so many philosophies before. Tantra is a great example of this soul union and all the practices that can be done to reconcile these two within us, but also in our relationships. The mythology of Shiva and Shakti coming together is also a great insight on this. But what's really important is that when we understand that the divine feminine and the divine masculine coming together is really an opportunity for these two to bypass their weaknesses, to complement each other, we really begin to see how essential it is for this universe to have these polar opposites that seem like a paradox or a duality. There is no duality in the universe. I don't believe in that. Of course, there is a plane where we can only see duality. But when we understand that this duality is only here because it serves the purpose of uniting, of coming together, of merging, of growing together in the same direction, using this person's weaknesses and that person's strengths and vice versa, we begin to see things a lot clearer. So on the higher polarity, when we have a perfect alignment for the divine masculine, we have an active force. It is an energy that comes from within and outwards. It is giving, it is the sun, it is the yang, it is electric, it is an energy that has to do with matter, with strength, with structure, with order, with logic, with thoughts. That, all of those traits that I just mentioned are some of the correspondances that can allow you to understand the divine masculine traits better. For the divine feminine, it is the same thing, but on the other polarity. So it is all about spirit. It is about receiving. It is a passive force. And when I say passive, I do not mean weak. It means that it is waiting to receive. It is an energy that harnesses the outside energy and brings it inward. It's really about introspection, about the moon, about emotions, feelings, caring, motherhood. It is all about being magnetic force, a passive charge. Just think of it as a battery. It's like in electricity. If you want to light a light bulb, you're gonna need two strings, like two things. You're gonna need a positive charge and a negative charge. The positive is not like, oh, I'm so happy. No, I'm speaking about it electricity wise. And the negative, well, it's the same. It doesn't mean that it is bad or anything. No, it just means that it brings things into it, while the positive gives away from itself. So these two are needed if magic, which is the light going on, is to happen. So on the lower polarities, when these two energies are wounded or misused, they show some bad traits. They really become the opposite of what they should be, which is good energies that can help us grow as individuals. And we live in the age of Aquarius. I'm sure you already heard of that somewhere, but in today's society, we see a lot of toxic masculinity and a lot of toxic femininity as well. We see a lot of those because people are just not grasping what it means to be a divine man and what it means to be a divine woman. So for the divine masculine to be in a low vibrational state is to become too rigid. It is to become angry and hateful, and to be a bully, to strip other people away from their power, to be fighting all the time, to give nothing but hate and anger, and use that fire to destroy, others, to not have anything that's close to a spark of creativity, to not be ready to settle down, to listen to other people's emotions, to oneself's emotions. It is someone who is too close-minded, who is too rigid, who wants to control everything, who wants to control everyone, who is always competitive and always trying to be something that is not really useful to anyone. He is not protecting his tribe, he is protecting himself. That's the worst a divine masculine can do. So the same goes for the divine feminine. When it is in its lower polarity, it becomes a person who is simply dwelling in emotions almost like hysterically, if we can say. It is someone who is disconnected from reality, probably doing some things to escape. There's a sort of escapism there, like drugs or too much pleasure. It is someone who is shallow, who uses the beauty and care that he may give to other people to reach his goals. It is a gold digger. It is someone who only wants to achieve her goals and does all that by all means necessary and possible. It is someone who does not help others and judges them and holds grudge. Think of it this way: the divine masculine, when he is hurt, he hurts others. When the divine feminine is hurt, she hurts herself. Divine masculine, on its lower polarity, hurts others. The divine feminine, when he is wounded, she hurts herself. So to heal the divine masculine, we need to have one word in mind: action. Just like we saw on the correspondances, we need to use those and actually apply them. We need to stand strong and stand really to fight for what we believe in. We need to go outdoors to experience life, to be active, to actively engage in this universe, to protect our tribe, to protect our loved ones, to protect ourselves. We need to give, to be generous, because the divine masculine is all about giving. You need to give from yourself, from your time, from your money, from everything, to something that has a purpose, of course, and a meaning, you need to be ready, above all things, to have honor in defeat. Once the battle is done, that's what the divine masculine is all about. It's about having the fight. It's about preparing for the fight, engaging in the fight, but above all things, if the fight does not go well, to have honor and to accept it and let it go and surrender and move on to the next mountain so you can get along with life. To not stay focused on one thing. You need to harness all the strength and resilience that you have to allow the divine masculine to guide you by actions. To reconcile the divine masculine, we also need to use our logic, to use our brain, to be centered and focused, to do experiences, to experiment with things, and eventually to reconcile our relationship with our father or our father figure, because parents, they're the first type of divine feminine and divine masculine that we see when we are young children. Just ask Freud. He would tell you all about it. But really, we need to reconcile everything that we resist with our father, the things that are just unsolved with our father figure. So now, to help us reconcile and heal our divine feminine, we need to have one word in mind, and that is expression. We need to express ourselves and allow ourselves to feel all of these emotions, all of this creativity that the divine feminine is, and to bring it forth to the world, to give it to the world, to put it outside of ourselves, to look at it. That's why art, as an example, is a great tool to heal the divine feminine, to dwell into art, into painting, sculpture, dancing, anything that has to do with the body and emotions is really important. So, seeking how to pleasure ourselves and others in a healthy way can be great. Taking care of the body, being beautiful, embodying that beauty, that grace, that charm, all of those things are great for healing the divine feminine. It is also important to receive, to accept gifts, to accept what this life is throwing at our face. If we are constantly like, oh my God, why do I always deal with this? Like, no, you need to accept life. That's what the divine feminine does. She accepts, she receives, she takes in. She takes something that may not be that pretty or beautiful and turns it into a piece of art, literally. So just do that. And of course, just like I said, for the divine masculine, it is important to heal our relationship with our mother figure. It is really important that we take away all of the negative thoughts or patterns that we have in our lives when it comes to motherhood or mothers in general, because that is something that can really play a huge role in blocking how we see ourselves as a divine feminine. To end this video, all we can say is that to reconcile our inner masculine and our inner feminine is something of the highest importance, because it will allow us to attract partners in our life that also embody that evolution and that growth that we are doing on the inside. Because so within, so without. I want to give you a little image here to make it a little bit clearer. The divine masculine in all his glory, he's a warrior. He will fight the entire jungle, the entire universe to protect his queen, to protect his family. He will go on and on, build a home for himself, protect it, fight, go into a battle, and come back victorious, even if he is wounded, to his loving queen's arms. His queen, the divine feminine, in all of her glory as well, is a loving and caring person. This person will take her man, give him love, she will heal him, she will inspire him, she will use her beauty to inspire her man to do great things for both of them. And when these two energies are going to come together at night, they're gonna make babies. No, they're gonna make magic. They're gonna create magic because they are gonna complement each other. They're gonna surprise. There's really no weaknesses after this. When you have the two polarities working for you, you can literally give life to another being. You can give life to anything. Thank you so much for watching my video. This is it for today. It was a pleasure to shoot, so please like, comment, and share as much as you want. I am Fatih, and I will be seeing you next time. Bye bye.